Douglas Brinkley, Wheels for the World, Henry Ford, His Company, and A Century of Progress. Discover the riveting story of Henry Ford and the Ford Company in the book Summary of Wheels for the World, Henry Ford, His Company, and A Century of Progress by Douglas Brinkley. This summary will delve into Ford's early life and passion for mechanics, the formation of the Detroit Automobile Company, and the creation of the iconic Model T. Learn about the ups and downs of Ford's ventures, his forward-thinking ideas alongside his controversial personality, and the impact of his successors on the Ford Company, as the automobile industry evolved into the global powerhouse it is today.
Henry Ford, a mechanical genius. Henry Ford, despite being born into wealth in Michigan, was not a scholar but had a mechanical genius that manifested at an early age. He could follow the technical logic of any machine and loved to take toys apart to see how they worked. His apprenticeship at James Flower and Brothers Machine Shop and his job at Westinghouse as a steam engine servicer paved the way for his understanding of the silent auto engine. He joined Edison Illuminating Company to get a better understanding of electricity and became their chief engineer. Although he did not invent the automobile, he successfully tested his quadricycle, a primitive automobile that lacked even brakes, in June 1896. Henry Ford was a believer in change and innovation who did not let old ways hinder his success. Ford and Couzens, the dynamic duo. The story of Ford's success with the revolutionary Model T and his partnership with James Couzens, a brilliant young delegate who transformed Ford's business ventures, is a remarkable tale of perseverance and ingenuity. Despite early failures in the automobile industry, Ford's unceasing approach to business and his unwavering commitment to continually improve his cars ultimately led to the creation of the iconic Model T in 1908. This success was largely thanks to his partnership with Couzens, who was ahead of his time in his financial and labor relations practices. Together, they revolutionized the automotive industry and left a lasting impact on business management that endures to this day. The rise and fall of Ford's legacy. James Couzens proposed an idea in 1913 that would make Henry Ford an American folk hero. The concept was that companies should share their profits by paying their workers an unheard-of wage of $5 a day. Despite some caveats and exceptions, the new wage policy led to soaring morale and productivity. However, in 1945, Henry Ford II took over as president and Detroit merchants raised their prices to take advantage of the newly prosperous Ford workers. To combat this, Ford set up special markets for its employees. Some may credit Ford for inventing the supermarket. Ford and Couzens were a great team, but they parted ways over issues surrounding World War I. Couzens was no warmonger, but he saw that Ford was damaging the company's reputation by calling soldiers murderers. Their break was finalized when Ford abruptly pulled all his funds out of a financial institution Couzens had established. Control of Ford's company slipped into the hands of less able managers, including a nefarious character named Harry Bennett, who established a corporate police state. Ultimately, what made Ford great was that he was afraid of neither failure nor going broke. Ford, a controversial visionary. Henry Ford was a complicated figure who left an indelible mark on the automobile industry. While he was often criticized for his anti-labor stance, Ford's gift for managing people helped him establish the Ford Motor Company. He also had a knack for foresight, realizing the importance of cars before the majority of people did and famously stating that people could have any color as long as it was black. Despite his positive qualities, Ford held anti-Semitic beliefs and had a questionable record when it came to treating his workers. However, his legacy remains significant, with the turnaround of his company in the 1980s considered one of the greatest in business history. The legacy of Henry Ford's heir. Henry Ford's son, Edsel, struggled to establish independence from his father and failed to modernize Ford. It was not until the arrival of Henry Ford II that the company saw success. He adopted modern management practices, repaired the management labor breach, and brought in new auto designs, though not without missteps like the Edsel model. He also oversaw Ford's successful diversification into the global marketplace, and weathered the difficult 1970s. However, his misjudgments, such as rejecting the van wagon, and clashes with Lee Iacocca, who restored Chrysler's fortunes with the minivan, stained his legacy. Ford's turbulent leadership journey. A journey through the leadership transitions at Ford, from the innovative Taurus to the Explorer SUV debacle, to the return of a Ford family member at the helm. Henry Ford II stepped down from his position as CEO in 1980, making way for Philip Caldwell to take the reins at Ford. Facing economic challenges in the 80s, the company needed a new direction, which they found in the innovative Taurus. This successful product helped Ford restore its identity as a provider of quality, affordable vehicles. Caldwell retired in 1985, and Don Peterson became Ford's new top executive. By the end of that decade, Ford had become the strongest automaker in Detroit. Peterson resigned in 1990 at the height of his career, allowing Red Poling, a finance expert, to take over. This marks the beginning of a series of leadership transitions that prepared the company for the eventual ascension of Henry Ford's descendant, Bill Ford Jr., who became chairman in 1998. Under his leadership, Jacques "Jack" Nasser was installed as CEO with expectations to reinvent the company. However, Nasser's focus on internet ventures and a lack of attention to the core business led to the debacle of the Explorer SUV. The product's defects resulted in a public relations nightmare that led to Nasser's resignation in 2001. With Bill Ford Jr. taking a more prominent role, a member of the Ford family was back in control of the company. The journey of leadership transitions at Ford led to the return of family leadership, but only after periods of innovative success and spectacular failure.
In Wheels for the World, we learn that despite remarkable achievements and innovations, Henry Ford was a figure fraught with contradictions. He championed equal pay for black workers but harbored anti-Semitic views, and he paid workers $5 a day while fiercely opposing union organization. Despite these flaws, the Ford company managed to navigate through the tumultuous 20th century and remains a significant entity in the automobile industry. The impact of Henry Ford's vision and leadership in the industry is undeniable. Throughout the struggles, legacies, and triumphs of Ford and its successive leaders, the message is clear: continuous innovation and change are the keys to enduring success in any business endeavor.